We are back. It's the Hartwells.
Yes, it is. We're back in full effect. Hey, today is our 16th.
Do you know what today is?
It's our anniversary.
I remember the first time. Oh, yep.
It's our anniversary.
16 years, y'all.
16.
That's crazy.
February the 28th.
16 years ago, 2003.
16 years ago, we got married. And today what we want to do is want to share with you guys some of the things that have helped us along the way. So we're going to give you 3 good things.
And 3 things that almost cost us our marriage.
We can start with 3 things.
So 3
Number
things
1.
that were bad first, I think.
We go bad first. Number 1.
Selfishness.
Selfishness.
So let us break that down for you a little further. Can sound really broad, like selfishness. We all know what that means. That just means you think about yourself. Well,
Yes.
when you get married, typically people are not intentionally thinking of themselves or trying to be selfish. But what it might look like is
I was stuck in my ways. I didn't want to change. I was like, I never go on a cruise. I never go on a big body of water. And with that being
I
said,
didn't leave nothing in the water. What I need to be out there for?
what I need to go back for.
Oh my gosh.
I ain't leaving nothing out there. But my wife opened me up to new things, and it was like, man, a cruise, okay. I had to drop down my selfishness of being stuck in that way and say, okay, you know what, let's try this. We actually went and had a great time, man.
We've gone a few times now at this point. And to that point too, for me, one of the major things was I had an example of what I thought a black woman in a marital situation should look like. And it did not have anything to do with being in any shape, form, or fashion led by my husband. So that was a problem. So it was just very selfish way of thinking that like it had to be the way I thought it should look. I still sometimes struggle with things needing to be the way I think they should look, but dying to that more and more and making sure that we are letting selflessness have its place in our marriage. So that's the first thing that is
selfishness. And it can show its head in all type of different ways, man.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, want to sleep with the music on, the other person don't want to sleep with the music on.
I'm a music on person. Who else sleeps with the music on? Like, isn't that like the best? Like, quiet storms, go to sleep. This man cannot sleep with music on.
Because I continue to have dreams about everything they're talking about. It's like everything that's going on in the music is going on in my head, and I can't do that.
Womp, womp, womp. He has to sleep with the fan on, though, and he has to sleep with...
It's no words, just the motor.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I had to learn how to sleep with the fan on. But anyways,
so,
selflessness.
It can work in a lot of different ways. You just got to figure out what it is and don't be selfish. Be selfless.
Correct.
Second thing is a lack of communication.
Oh, yeah. So lack of communication also has many different variations. A lot of times in the beginning can kind of be a lot easier because there's less to communicate about. You kind of know each other's work, you know each other's work schedule for the most part. Like we were both in the military, so it was really easy. We knew where the other person was. We only had one vehicle, so we had to communicate about where the other person had to be. But as you start growing and your job situations are changing or your career is changing, you start adding children to the mix. Anything that causes things to be added to the mix, it seems like if you don't communicate, it can just cause so many unnecessary fights and arguments. And then you arguing about the fact that you got to sleep with the fan on when that wasn't even a problem to begin with. So communication helps to alleviate a lot of arguments that can be avoided or tension between the two of you.
And I would say something even going a little bit deeper, not saying that you like or dislike something. You have to be able to communicate the things that you like and the things that you don't like. So that way, when it won't continue to happen. It won't continue to happen if you don't like it. And it will continue to happen if you do like it. So communicating those things. Because if I never communicate to her that I don't like the music on when we fall asleep, and she's going to continue to play it. And I'm going to continue to have dreams. 12 ways to love you. And all this kind of stuff, I'm going to continue.
Still not a song.
I'm going to continue to have dreams about those things. So I have to be able to communicate the things that I like or dislike.
He is notorious for not wanting to do something that I want to do, but allowing me to think that we're going to do it. And to the very last minute, then he will tell me he doesn't want to do it, which infuriates me. infuriates. So just being able to kind of say it, because you can't be afraid of conflict within relationship. Conflict doesn't mean that you have a problem. Conflict means it's an opportunity to communicate. That's really what it is. So being able to get to the place in communication where there's a disconnect, like I was thinking this, he was thinking that. Communication helps bridge the miscommunication or the misunderstanding, if you will, so that you can get on the same page and get on with your life. Doesn't mean that every time you communicate about something that y'all don't agree about, that you guys are it's gonna be super pleasant, but it's necessary within the relationship to grow together.
Yes.
You can't be afraid of conflict.
Which brings us to the third thing. This is a break, not a make. This is a break. Third thing is lack of quality time.
Yeah.
Lack of quality time. You have to continue to make time for each other. You have to continue to date each other, pursue each other. You have to continue to date and pursue each other. You can't let your priorities get out of whack. So, we have God, your spouse. Not God, your children. God, your spouse.
Yes.
And then you prioritize everything else down the list. But you have to keep that you have to keep the main priority on your wife. Your wife has to be your second your priority.
Or your husband.
Yes.
And the thing about it is, when we were courting for like the 2 seconds that we courted, because we got married super fast, we spent like as much time together as we possibly could.
Yeah.
Like we were together as often. Like literally, whenever we had any kind of free time, we were together. Quality time, talking, spending time together, going out to eat, whatever.
In taxis,
wasting a lot of money, but it just was a priority, which made me feel important that he would spend his money on me and want to be where I was at. So that doesn't need to change once you get married. It's not like, oh, got her, so I'm gonna kick back and just chill, or oh, got him, so now I don't have to do everything. Like, you want to spend time together, quality time together, which means what? What is quality time, Deontay? Define it.
It's not watching a movie.
We did the whole 5 love languages, which I suggest that you do. It is definitely a skill to learn your mate, your friends, your parents. To learn people's love languages is really awesome. It helps you to communicate your heart for them in a way that they can receive it. But mine is quality time. So yes. D called himself killing the game. Like, we spending all this time together watching movies, watching TV shows. And like a week later, I'm like, hey, my love language is quality time, and you're not spending any quality time with me. So he's like, what are you talking about? We've been watching all these movies and TV shows. I'm like, that's not quality time. Quality time is intentionally engaging one another. So we weren't doing that. We're just sitting there occupying the same space together. That's not quality time. You do that pretty much every day if you live in the same house.
All the time. All the time.
Intentional engagement.
Intentional quality time. Taking that time to sit down, look at each other, talk about your day, talk about what's going on, talk about the future, engaging each other on an intellectual level, quality time.
Yes. Or an emotional level, all those different levels. Because you know what's going to happen?
You're going to grow old one day.
Exactly. I'm not the 19-year-old girl who got married to him. He's not the 20-year-old man who married me. We have grown and evolved. When do you get to discover that there's something changing or stirring up on the inside of you is in that intentional quality time. You talk about what's been on that person's mind. My husband is an in-the-brain type person. So if I don't intentionally engage what's been going on up here, I might get lost in where he's traveled to that I haven't even caught up to yet. So take the time to intentionally engage each other. Yes.
So that being said, now we're gonna go to the things that are gonna help sustain your marriage. Sustain your relationship.
So the first thing is, we kind of talked about it a little bit. God. Sounds kind of like, oh yeah, God. No. Seriously, God. He has a whole formula and blueprint for how marriage works. And I can guarantee you that when you and your spouse come into agreement about how God wants it done, and you come into agreement with to do it that way, you just cannot fail. I've not seen one marriage fail where the husband and the wife both agree that we're going to do this God's way, and not just his way, but we're going to make sure that he is the one that guides and directs us.
And everyone has their own walk and their own way to get to what they're getting to with God. And the thing is, I can't press my way upon her, and she can't press her way upon me, because what it's going to do is going to make me rebel or make her rebel and try to do something different.
Totally true. Our individual walk with God was just as important as us pursuing him together. There's things that you put on the other person that they're not designed to meet your needs, but God is designed to meet that need. So if I am intentionally engaging God and letting him meet the needs and the deficits that I have, then I can have a healthy dynamic between me and my husband or any other relationship around my life, and vice versa.
Which just brings us to the second one, acceptance. Acceptance.
Yes. So acceptance, you have to accept the person for who they are. We talked about selfishness, but we don't want to confuse you. The deal is when you accept the person for who they are. So I knew that D didn't necessarily like to try new things, but I had to accept the fact that he has his own timing or process in it. So
like,
maybe
I don't want any sushi. No, why?
Now he a whole sushi connoisseur. It's so crazy.
No sushi for me, man. I mean,
it takes some time
fish.
though. I can't force it on him like right then and be all butthurt because he didn't want to try it right then. I gotta give him time. And for you, he's not a super big hugger. I am. So when he was trying to like make me like not be a super big hugger because that's not what he is, that did not work. He had to accept me.
Like, stop hugging people all the time. What you hugging people all the time for? Nobody want to be touching all the time. Stop.
People love my hugs. I'm a good hugger. I've been told that. So anyhow. But yeah, you have to accept the person for who they are. Give them their space to grow. Love them as they're growing and support them.
Yes, because the thing is, both of you guys are going to be growing throughout the years. You're not going to be the same person that you were day one.
Right.
On day 25 or year 3, you're not the same person that you were on day 1.
So true.
You're going to continue to grow and evolve. You're going to do these things together. Like you were growing separately when you first got together. Then once you got together, it became a thing where you started to grow together. So now it's like, okay, I got to figure out how we're doing this. And you got to accept those things that are growing. And you have to start to grow along with them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Cultivate it in the other person.
Yeah.
And then the third thing that has really been a huge part of sustaining our marriage
is
relationships around our life.
Relationships around you. You're only as strong as the people that are around you. In whatever situation you're in, you're only as strong as the people that are around you. So you want to make sure you're surrounding yourself with people that are strong. It's just like in the word when it says iron sharpens iron. You want other people that are around you that are sharp so that you can get as sharp as you can get.
And I want to kind of dispel this like myth that like when married people are married, they can only have married friends. That's not true. You're going to find that people are going to be in many different walks of life around your life, and it's all beneficial for you. So one of the biggest supporters for us has been our parents, like our moms, I should say. Our moms are huge supporters. They're there for us. They help us with the children whenever we need it. Anything that we need, they show up for us. They're a big part of why we're successful in our marriage now. Other marriages, hey, that's a big part of it. Has been great. We go on double dates, triple dates, quadruple dates. Having those different perspectives, having those different experiences help enrich our relationship as well, just to hear what other couples are doing and going through and how they're getting through. I think the other thing is just, with my single friends, like I was saying, everyone doesn't have to be married. Sometimes my single friends are way easier to spend time with because they don't have all the different things tying them up that some of my married friends do have. And as long as they're not trying to pull me into situations that will compromise my marriage, it shouldn't be a problem for you to have single friends. That's like a really crazy myth that's been out there that I think is unfortunate because it's not true that you can't have single friends.
At the same token, marriage relationships are great. Because you have women that are around your wife or men that are around your husband, they're able to get a different perspective. They're able to hear different things that you may say that they're not listening to. But when that person over there says it, they'll listen to it and then they'll come home and say it, and then you just listen, just bask in it. Don't even say, I told you that before already.
Yeah,
babe.
Don't say that because it worked both ways.
Just let it flow and just bask in it and be like, you know what,
there.
I'm glad she got it from somebody.
Somewhere. Glad he got it
Trust
from
me,
somewhere.
trust me.
I've been saying it, but as long as he got it.
16 years, I'm telling you, 16 years in, man, just trust me. Just take it. Just be like, okay. She got it.
Hey, Lord, by any means necessary, as long as this dome can absorb it, I'm here for it.
Her mainly. But, let's need to hear that. But, remember.
What are we remembering?
I don't know what you finna remember.
Remember that relationships around your life are important, and if there's
They
any
are.
toxic relationships, and this is how you can tell that relationships are toxic. If you know that anytime you spend time with someone or you talk to them, it seems like your situation worsens in the sense that you're not any better. You don't feel any more encouraged. You feel more drained, more, pulled down, then it's probably not the best relationship to lean and press into for your benefit.
Yes.
You need people who are going to encourage you.
People that are gonna lift you up.
Yeah.
People that's gonna lift you up. If I want to be a lawyer, guess what I'm gonna hang around? People who are speaking like lawyers. People who are lawyers. I'm gonna hang around those people so that I can get to that place. So if you want your relationship to be good, you hang around good relationships. People that are in good relationships. That when you leave them, they're inspiring you to be better than you were. To be better. Once you get around those people right there, you'll see how your relationship grows. You see how you grow. And so make sure you surround yourself with those people.
And with all that being said, we love you guys. Thank you guys so
Yes.
much for watching our channel. 16 years and counting.
And we want to leave you guys with heart wellness.
Heart wellness, y'all.
Heart